Good morning, everybody, and it is the last day before half term, isn't it? Well done for making it. It's been quite a half term, to put it mildly, hasn't it? It's been a bit of an odd one, but I'm really proud of you all for sticking with it, for being here, joining in with all the lessons. I think you've done a great job, so really, really well done. We're going to be doing today, for our last literacy lesson before half term, haiku poems. Now, this is something that we began yesterday, and I'm sure you guys wrote 4 fantastic seasonal haiku poems, didn't you? Let's have a look. Here are 4 such haiku poems. I'd like you to start with just to pause the video and see if you can work out which season each of these 4 haikus are about. So pause the video, have a read of them, have a chat at home. Which season do you think each of these 4 haikus is about? Okay, so we've got life awakening, a flower opens in the sun, a world is reborn. That's about the spring, isn't it? It's about flowers opening up. Warm sun on the ground, a flower growing stronger, life under the sun. That's about summer. Blankets of cold white, flower hidden from the cold, life waiting for spring. That's our winter. And finally, darkening shadows, flower drifts to gentle sleep, the world is resting. That's a haiku for autumn. Now, we had a good think about this yesterday, so I'll just whiz through this today, really. A haiku is a traditional form of Japanese poetry that is hundreds of years old. And we mentioned that they are incredibly short. They're only 17 syllables long. Now, we spent some time yesterday looking at what a syllable is. By all means, if if maybe you were in school yesterday and mum and dad are looking at you really confused because they don't know any of this, you can always rewatch yesterday's video and remind yourself, for example, what a syllable is and how long our haikus are as well. Today, we're going to be building on all of that knowledge, and we're going to try to write some haiku poems about the Victorians. So like we did yesterday, we're going to start by getting down some words and phrases which might spark off some ideas. It is, I suppose, our final day of the Victorian topic, because next half term we've got a brand new topic, it's no longer the Victorians. So I thought this would be a really good way to kind of see off our topic. We can write some really fantastic haiku poems about the Victorian era. So like we did yesterday, I'd like you to get a spare piece of paper, split it in 4, and give yourself some subheadings about things you think you might like to write some haiku poems about. So my suggestions here are the workhouse, school, the Great Exhibition, but really your subheadings could be about absolutely anything. It's completely up to you what your haikus are about today. So I'm actually going to write one about food in the Victorian era. So you might write a little subheading about food and get down some ideas for that. It's completely up to you. Whatever aspect of Victorian life has interested you or you think you know a lot about, aim for that. But certainly I would say 3 good ones might be the workhouse, school, and the Great Exhibition. And if you've got any other ideas, great. So the types of things we can write down here would be some brilliant vocabulary, any sort of nice little phrases you have in mind, any information you have. And really, it's just about jotting down our own ideas. So hopefully you remember all this from yesterday's video and you know what you're doing with this, but try to get yourself a really nice plan where you're just jotting down loads of ideas, getting things from your brain onto the page so that you've got lots to work with in a moment. Okay, so then, hopefully you've got a nice full page of your plan that you've got some really good ideas for, and we're going to now try to turn that into our haiku poem. Now I'll just sort of put up here just for our reminder, really, our first line needs to be 5 syllables, our second line needs to be 7 syllables, and our last line needs to be 5 as well. I always think it's good just to sort of have that on there just as a bit of a reminder, because like we did yesterday, it's probably going to involve quite a lot of counting on fingers, this. Now, I'd like to write one all about food, because I love food. And I think when I found out all about the Victorian era, I remember thinking how tough it must have been when, particularly if you were poor, the type of food you'd have been eating would have been really horrible and there wouldn't have been much of it to go around. And particularly if you've sort of read or seen Oliver Twist or know anything about Oliver Twist, there's one really famous line in it, and it's, please, sir, can I have some more? And it's when little Oliver, who's a little boy in the workhouse, he's had his little tiny spoonful of gruel, and he goes back up to the counter and he says, "Oh, please, can I have some more?" And all the workhouse owners are shocked and appalled that this young boy should be so rude and arrogant as to ask for more food when he's really starving. So I'm actually going to try to write a poem a little bit about that. I'm going to try to have a haiku poem all about this. So I'm probably going to be mentioning gruel. I might mention some words like sloppy or watery, disgusting, vile. I might try to include some words like that. But one phrase I'd really like to include in mine is, "Please, sir, can I have some more?" Which I think would make a really nice middle line, wouldn't it? "Please, sir, can I have some more?" That's 7 syllables exactly, so that works out really nicely for me. So I think I need to set the scene a little bit first of all and talk about gruel a little bit. So gruel, that's going to be 1 syllable. What can I say about gruel then? Might be about actually how little I've got of it. So maybe spoonful, a spoonful of gruel, a spoonful of gruel. Brilliant, that fits really nicely. A spoonful of gruel. "Please, sir, can I have some more?" And then I think we can sort of make this sound a little bit funny actually, and we can say, something like, "Never mind, actually, on second thoughts, I don't really want the gruel." So that will kind of imply that even though you're really, really hungry and you'd like some more, the gruel's not very tasty. So never mind would be 3. Anyway, what could we have for this then? Yeah. Actually, I think I'm going to have actually, I'm going to no thanks. So my poem here is, "A spoonful of gruel. Please, sir, can I have some more? Actually, no thanks." And this is my little Victorian child here. He's only had a spoonful of gruel. He's really hungry and he's thinking about asking for some more. But then he realizes actually this gruel doesn't taste very nice. And even though I'm hungry, I don't really want any more. So there you go. There's my little poem about food in the Victorian era, perhaps in a workhouse, having some horrible gruel. See what you can come up with. So I'd be really interested to see your poems, maybe about the workhouse, maybe about school in the Victorian times, maybe about the Great Exhibition. Try to be really creative with this. I love haikus because I think the fact that it really limits you and puts such a kind of a tiny limit on what you can actually write down forces you to be really creative and forces you to be really, really careful with your words and which words you select and which words you choose. So I'm looking forward to seeing what you make today. Well done, everybody. I will see you back for our maths lesson after this.